So today we're going to be doing lesson 53, which is an introduction to rotations. So there's a quick do now that's 3 questions long that I would like you to take a minute, pause the video to answer. All right, so first, what does it mean to rotate something? Well, another word for rotate is to turn or to spin. When we rotate something, we turn or spin it. Think about it. Does it change shape? No. Does it change size? No, it's just facing kind of in another direction depending on where it's turned. So it stays the same shape and the same size. And what do we call things that say the same shape and the same size? They are congruent. All right. Then we have, what does it mean for something to be, what does clockwise mean? Well, think about a clock. When we're talking about a clock, the way clock hands go is like this, or to the right. So clockwise is when we're turning to the right. Counterclockwise is the opposite, which is to the left. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about our degrees of rotation. And one thing that sometimes helps is thinking about a coordinate plane or different angles. If we have angles, one angle is 90 degrees. So if I take something from here and turn it 90 degrees, it's going to end up there if I do it clockwise. What if it was 180? Well, this is another 90, which makes that 180, so it would end up there. And then one more would be how many degrees? Well, what's 180 plus 90? That would be 270 degrees. And then if I kept going, it would be full circle back to the beginning, which is 270 degrees plus 90, which is 360 degrees. So these are different things that we're going to be talking about today. So when we do something 90 degrees, I'm going to take away this clockwise here. That means we are doing one turn. When we do 180 degrees, we're turning it once and then turning it once again, which means that it is 2 turns. So then 270 is 180, and then we add another 90 degrees, which makes it 3 turns. So that's what we're going to be practicing today. Now, something to also keep in mind that we'll discuss is sometimes, depending on the direction you turn, you'll either have to turn to the left or to the right. All right? So let's look at the next page. Which one of the following is a 90-degree rotation of this symbol about the origin? Now here it says 90 degrees clockwise. So 90 degrees tells me I'm doing one turn. Clockwise tells me I'm going to the right. So something that helps me is that if I have, whether I have a separate piece of paper or if I have maybe even to make my life easier, tracing paper, it's very helpful when doing rotations. Because I can just draw the figure and then physically actually complete the rotation using the piece of paper. So I can physically move things. So with rotation, it helps if you take out either a piece of scrap paper or a piece of tracing paper. So here, I know it's kind of harder to see, but I'm going to trace my little figure. There. And I'm going to take that, I'm going to turn it one time to the right. So I'm turning it once to the right. And that is what I get. So which one matches up with that? That would be C. Then next, I have a 90 degrees counterclockwise rotation. Well, 90 degrees tells me I'm doing one turn, and counterclockwise tells me I'm going to the left. So I'm going to trace my figure. And I'm going to turn it one time to the left. So I'm going to go. And I see this one doesn't match up with C, but it matches up with B. So the answer is B. Then I'm going to do the same for my next one. The next one is a 180 degree rotation. It doesn't tell me which way. So first, let's trace our letter here. It doesn't tell me which way, but 180 degrees we know is 2 turns. So let's try to turn it. So I'm going to turn it. Let's go to the right first. So I'm going to go 1, 2 turns to the right. It matches up with C here. So I'm going to put like a little mark there to say. Let's go back to the beginning. What if I turn it 2 times to the left? 1, 2 times to the left. It's C there also. So with 180 degrees, it doesn't matter which way you turn it, clockwise or counterclockwise. It's always going to be the same. All right, so then let's look at the next one. The next one I have is 90 degrees counterclockwise. 90 degrees counterclockwise. Well, 90 degrees is 1 turn. And counterclockwise is to the left. So let's look here. We have our little arrow. We're going to turn it once to the left. And I end up with A. All right, now take a minute, pause the video, and try the next 5 questions. Remember, use a separate sheet of paper if it helps you, and above each of the rotations, write how many times are you turning it, and also write in which direction. Are you turning it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and then are you going to the left or to the right? Make sure to write that above each of them so that you don't forget. All right, so now let's take a look at our examples and see if we got them correct. So 180 degree rotation, that means it's 2 turns and it does not matter in which direction. So we have the K here. So I turn it 2 times. Here's 1, here's 2, and it's that upside down K, which gives us B. Then we have a 90 degree clockwise. 90 degrees means 1 turn. Clockwise means to the right. So we're going to draw our figure here. And we're going to turn it 1 time to the right. And that gives us C. Then here we have 90 degrees counterclockwise rotation. 90 degrees tells me we have 1 turn. Counterclockwise tells me we're going to the left. So we're going to trace our figure. We're going to turn it one time to the left. And that gives me A. Then we're going to do the same idea for the last one. So for the last one, we're going to do 90 degrees clockwise rotation. 90 degrees tells me I'm doing it one turn. Clockwise tells me I'm going to the right. So trace your figure on your tracing paper or your scrap paper. Then we're going to take it, we're going to turn it one time to the right. And this one matches up with choice B. All right, so now that we went through those examples, let's look at the next page. The next page is a little bit more challenging because on this page, we have actual graphs that we're going to look at. So when we're doing actual graphs, we need to see, can we identify which one came first and which one came second? Because that's super important. So let's look here. Looking at graph 1. Which one came first here? Well, we know that this one on the bottom came first because it does not have the primes. This one has the primes, so we know that one came second. So I'm going to trace this figure, this trapezoid figure that we have here. Onto my separate sheet of paper. P, S, R, Q. And then in order to figure out how many times we turned it, well, we needed to face that way. So let's try. And you could pick which direction to go in, to the left or to the right. So let me try to the right. If I turn it one turn to the right, is it like that? Nope. What about if I do it another one? 2 turns to the right. Now does it match up? Yes, it does, and the letters match up perfectly. So that would be 2 turns to the right. So I'm going to write that on the side. 2 turns to the right. And the reason I'm writing that on the side is because now I need to figure out what that math lingo is that I'm going to write on the line there. 2 turns means 180 degrees. And to the right means clockwise. What I also want you to do is let's think about if we went counterclockwise. So I'm going to start from my beginning. If I went counterclockwise to the left, let's see. If I turn it once to the left, does it match up? Nope. What about twice to the left? Ah, yes it does. So 2 turns to the left also. And that makes sense because remember we said 180 degrees clockwise and 180 degrees counterclockwise is the same. So now let's take a look at the next example. So first, let's figure out which one came first and which one came second. So the one that came first is this one on top because it does not have the primes, and this is like a diamond-y type shape. And the one that came second is the one under. So let's trace our figure. With our letters A, B, C, D, E. And let's try to go to the right first. So if I start here and I turn it once to the right, does it match up? Nope. Twice to the right. Does it match up? Nope. 3 times to the right, and it finally matches up. So 3 turns to the right. Well, I know 3 turns is 270 degrees. and to the right is clockwise. Let's see what it would be to the left. So if I start here, I'm turning to the left. I go one turn. And does it match up with one turn? Yes, it does. So one turn to the left matched up. So when I turn it one turn to the left, sorry about that. One turn is 90 degrees, and to the left is counterclockwise. So here we just figured out that 270 degrees clockwise is the same as 90 degrees counterclockwise. Interesting. Let's look at number 3. So let's look at which one came first here. So if I'm looking, I notice that this one does not have the prime, so this one came first, and this one came second. And I'm going to trace my figure onto my piece of paper. With my letters W, V, U, and T. Let's go to the right first. So if I take this, I turn it once to the right. Does it match up? Yes, it does. So it'd be one turn to the right. Well, we know one turn is 90 degrees, and to the right is clockwise. What if I restarted and went to the left instead? So I'm going to turn it to the left. 1, still doesn't match up. 2, nope. But 3 to the left match up. So 3 turns we know is 270 degrees. And to the left is counterclockwise. So 90 degrees clockwise is the same as 270 degrees counterclockwise. So 90 and 270, as we saw in both of these examples, are always going to be opposite of one another. All right, now I'll give you a second. Pause this video and try 4, 5, and 6. So if we look, for example, 4, first we identified which one came first and which one came second. And we noticed here that this one came first and this one came second. So we created our figure. And let's go to the right first. So if we do 1 turn, it doesn't match up. 2 turns, it did. So it was 2 to the right, which means it's 180 degrees clockwise. And we know 180 degrees clockwise is the same as 180 degrees counterclockwise. So we can just write that. And you could always use your paper to help you determine that that's true. Now let's look at the next one. Which one came first and which one came second? Well, we notice here by the primes that the one to the left came first and the one to the right came second. So we're going to draw our triangle here. We have H, I, G. And let's go to the right first. So we're going to go 1 turn to the right. That's not good. 2 turns. Nope. And then 3 turns is where it matches up. So we go 3 to the right. 3 turns to the right means it's 270 degrees, and to the right is clockwise. Now, we learned that it's opposite. So 270 degrees clockwise is the same as 90 degrees counterclockwise. All right, then we have our last one, number 6 on this page. And number 6, we noticed because of the primes, the bottom one came first and the other one came second. So we're going to draw our figure on our piece of paper. And we're going to see, let's go to the right first. If I turn it once to the right, it matches up. So 1 to the right, 1 is 90 degrees, and to the right is clockwise. So 90 degrees clockwise is the same as 270 degrees counterclockwise. All right, so there's more practice examples for you to do on this page. And then actually, this is where I'm going to have you stop today. So if you stop here, don't do the other 2 pages yet. The other 2 we'll tackle tomorrow. So we're going to stop here for today. Don't even do this one, actually. This will be for tomorrow. So this will be tomorrow's work. So we will not get to this today. I'm not going to have you do this for homework. You did a great deal of work here with this. And we'll go on to this tomorrow instead. All right? So after this, you're done.